Alright, so in the last video, I showed you exactly why 70% of your clients only come back once and then basically never ever return. But even if you understand all of this and you understand the repeat revenue problem, and even if you understand that retention matters, there's a specific moment where you're losing most of your clients: the checkout conversion conversation. Most med spas just finish the treatment and then say, okay, I'll see you in 3 to 4 months, and then let the client decide without booking their next appointment. And that's where 70% of your leads disappear forever. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through and show you on the board why the checkout rebooking system works, and it's the most important 60 seconds of your entire client journey, and what it looks like when you skip it, and what it's costing you every single month. This is the single highest, most leverage that you can have within this retention system. So pay attention to this video. Let's get right into it. So right here we have the checkout rebooking gap, why 70% leave without their next appointment. The treatment gets done, the client's happy, and the results look amazing. And then you just say the most worst thing you could possibly say: see you in 3 to 4 months. You are single-handedly letting the client decide when to come to you. The problem with this is that you must decide for them, not them deciding for you. The client walks out and there's no next appointment booked. 70% of clients who leave and rebook never ever return. And when you skip this 60-second conversation, you lose 54 grand in repeat revenue over a large scale of time. But what is the critical checkout moment where retention is won or lost? Part A, or Path A, without checkout rebooking. The treatment gets finished. The front desk says, alright, you're all set. Your results will last you around 3 to 4 months, and we'll see you then. The client says thanks, and the client leaves without no next appointment. What happens next is, weeks 1 to 8, the client's happy with their results, very happy. But weeks 9 to 12, the results still start to fade and start to diminish. And by week 13, so around 3 months to 4 months later, the client thinks, I should probably call them, but they never ever do. The result is that 70% never ever return. Why though? A, they probably forgot to call, or got busy, or maybe even too much friction in the rebooking process. But Path B, with the checkout rebooking process, the treatment gets finished. The front desk says, alright, you're set. Your results will last you around 3 to 4 months. Most of our clients like to maintain the results by coming back in the 12-week mark. You must give them a time to come back. Can I go ahead and schedule your next appointment while you're here? The client has no choice but to say sure, and they book in another appointment for 12 weeks. What happens next is, weeks 1 to 12 or 11, the appointment is in their calendar, but by week 12, they're getting reminders to show up for their next appointment, and they damn near show up all of the time. In fact, a 70% return rate. It's already booked, it's in their calendar, and they're getting reminders, so they want to maintain their results. Same clients, same treatments, same results. Only different as that there's one conversation that lasts 60 seconds. Through Path A, 70% of leads are lost, but through Path B, 70% are retained. And when you skip this conversation, you lose 70% of your clients forever. But why does the checkout rebooking system work so well? Here's the true psychology that you want to see throughout all this. Reason 1, they're already there. Booking at checkout requires zero friction. They're standing at your desk, the calendar is open, and it takes 30 seconds. Versus remembering to call, finding your number, calling during business hours, waiting on hold. It's too much friction. There's too many steps, and frankly, they're going to say, what's the point? And when you make them do all of the work, it kills 40% who intend to actually want to return. Number 2, they're happy with their results. Right after treatment, the motivation is at its peak to maintain the results that they currently have. They see the results, or they might anticipate them. They're excited and they want to maintain it. 3 months later, the results start to fade. Motivation is lower, and they're questioning if it's even worth it in the first place. You must book them when their motivation is high, not when it's fading. Number 3, they trust you. They just had a good experience. They trust your recommendation. So when you tell them that you must come back every 12 weeks to maintain the amazing results that you got for them, they're thinking, they're the expert, they're the authority. It makes sense. But 3 months later, their trust has faded because they haven't seen you in such a while. They might want to price shop and go for a cheaper option. And even worst of all, try another place. You must lock them in when their trust is highest. And number 4, it feels natural. When you ask them at checkout, they're not thinking, oh, they're just trying to upsell me, or they're trying to get me as another customer, as a retainer. No. They're thinking, this is just probably just part of the process of getting the treatment, you know? There's nothing weird about it. Whereas if you're starting to contact them and ask them, hey, we need you again for 3 to 4 months, they're going to start thinking it's a bit salesy or something like that. So no one questions it. It's just what you do. It makes it seem like it's a standard procedure. But if you don't ask them at checkout and then text them 3 months later, it feels like a sales pitch. You must make it a standard operating procedure, the most important thing. Finally, number 5, calendar commitment effect. When something's in your calendar, you're 3 times more likely to follow through. There are many studies about this. And it becomes real, committed, and it's hard to ignore. Versus saying, I'll call you in 3 months, makes it easy to forget. Number 1, there's no commitment whatsoever, and it never ever happens. Get it in the calendar now, not eventually. But here's the thing, what is the checkout rebooking script? You want to know what to say word for word. When the treatment is complete, set an expectation, telling them that they'll see their results within the next 7 to 10 days, and how long it'll last, 3 to 4 months. And you must educate them on how to maintain these results. The key to maintaining them is to come back before they fully wear off. Make it as easy as possible for them to understand. Dumb it down for your audience. That way your results never fully fade, and you keep looking fresh year round. And you must make assumptive booking. The front desk should say, most of our clients like to schedule their next appointment now when they're here, so they don't have to remember later. Can I go ahead and get you on the calendar for 12 weeks from now? It's not, do you want to book for your next appointment? That sounds meek. You want to be the authority in this and ask, can I go ahead and schedule you? Listen, you're playing in a game where there are hundreds of med spas all around you, and you're fighting for the exact same customer. If you have to play dirty and use psychology to do it, you must use all the things that you have. Can I go ahead and schedule you is the best way to say this. The client's response will usually be, sure, because why not? It's 12 weeks away. So, and then after that, what you want to say is give off a date for when it will be 12 weeks from now, and give off 2 options, not what time do you want to do, because once again, that is decision fatigue. You're giving them something to think about. When am I available? No one knows what they're doing 12 weeks later. You probably don't know when you're doing in 2 days, let alone 12 weeks. So you must give them a time to pick, which it usually works. Usually the biggest constraint that people have is work. So giving them the options of 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. will give them the option to know when they have work and when they don't. And finally, you book the appointment, and the client has an expectation of when the next appointment is in their calendar. But there might be other responses saying, I need to check my schedule, usually due to work. The front desk can say, no problem, can I send you a text later today with our booking link? You can pick a time that works for you. The client says, sure, that'll work. Great, I just sent over that, because no one ever says no to this. You don't say, can I send you a text later today with our booking link? You say, no, I don't want it. Like, no one ever says that. You just came off from an amazing treatment. So 99% of the time, it'll be sure that works. Great, I'll send it over this afternoon. Just so you know, spots in the 12-week mark tend to fill up, so I'm booking you as soon as you can check your calendar. It creates soft urgency, but you send the link same day, so there's like that good medium balance between it. But client response number 3, I'll call you when I'm ready. Oh, of course, just to keep in mind, the sweet spot is around 12 weeks, same stuff that you say to them. I'll send you a reminder text around week 10 so you don't forget. At minimum, get permission to follow up with them. But here's the conversion rates by the response. Response 1 is usually 60% of the time, or I overestimated a bit, but it's around 85% nowadays. Books on the spot, and there's a 90% show rate. Response number 2 is checking their schedule, is around 25%. You send the link same day, 50% of them book within 48 hours, and 80% show up. Finally, number 3 is I'll call. No one really says this, unless they had really bad results. You must give permission to follow up. 30% book after reminders, but you have a 70% show rate. Overall checkout without rebooking is 70%. Without asking though, it's completely 0. You have 70% guaranteed checking out. But what is this actually costing you? The checkout gap tax. Without the checkout rebooking, 100 clients come in and you just simply say, oh, I'll see you in 3 to 4 months. The clients who book on the spot is 0% because you never asked them. Clients who return is only 30%, so you're only getting 30 of the clients that you served. Month one's revenue is going to be $300 times 100. But by month 4, when they return, only 30 clients showed up times 300, so you only made 9,000 from your previous month 1 conversion. The total LTV combined is 600, and the annual rev is per 100 clients is 468 grand. However, with the checkout rebooking gap, 100 clients complete the treatments per month, same as the left. The clients who book on the spot though is 70%, 60% say sure, and 10% via the link. Clients who return after the reminders is 15% from the 30% who just said I'll call. The total return rate is 85%, like I said earlier. Nowadays it's 85%. Month one's revenue is 30 grand, so $30,000. So because 100 times 300 is 30,000. But by month 4, it doesn't go down to 9 grand. It stays at around that 25 grand mark. And these are repeat clients that you're getting. You're not paying for ads. You're not using tactics like referrals and stuff. These are just people that are coming back and again. These 85 people also return in month 7 and month 10 and month 13 and so on and so forth. The total LTV is $1,200 and the annual revenue is $1.16 million. The difference is nearly 648 grand a year. Same clients, same treatments. The only difference is that there's a 160-second conversation at checkout. And each month that you skip out on this, 54 grand a month is gone. It's not your money anymore. You already delivered great service. You're just not asking them to come back. But if it works so well, why don't most med spas do this? Barrier number 1, they think it's pushy. Most med spa owners think, I don't want to pressure my clients into the coming to their next appointment. But here's the thing, you're playing in a zero-sum game. You need to use all the help you can get as a med spa to be the best out there. But asking at checkout isn't pushy, it's being helpful. Because here's the thing, pushy is you need a book right now or your results won't last. But being helpful is most clients like to schedule their next appointment so they don't forget later. Can I get you on the calendar? The client wants to maintain their amazing looks and results. You're just making it easy for them to make that decision. It's not being pushy, it's a service. You have the best service in your space. You need to understand this. Number 2, your front desk isn't trained. Even if the owner understands rebooking matters, front desk doesn't know what to say, how to say it, or even when to ask. So they just default to, oh, okay, I'll see you next time. What's needed is a script, role play practice, objection handling, and finally performance tracking. You need to track your results. Without training, your front desk doesn't ask because they don't know how to, and you lose nearly 70% of your clients just by not rebooking them. Barrier number 3, they underestimate the impact. Most med spa owners think clients will call back if they want to, but they never ever do. The data is without the checkout rebooking, 30% return only. With checkout rebooking, 85% return. That's a 183% increase in retention from one conversation because it overlaps over months, over a period of time. The monthly impact is 54 grand more revenue, but the annual nearly 648 grand just from your old clients. And when you underestimate this, you leave 54 grand a month on the table. But what is the actual math behind this? The retention difference. Without checkout rebooking, you ask no questions, none are booked on the spot. The return rate only goes to 30%. The average visits per year, you might have some outliers who visit twice, 1.5. Client LTV is at $600. Monthly revenue only at 60 grand, and the annual revenue at 720 grand. But with the checkout rebooking, you can ask, can I schedule you? With the 70% on the spot, totaling out to $1.368 million a year, or 648 grand more than not implementing the checkout rebooking system. Same clients, same service quality, but the only difference is that one is asking at checkout and one doesn't. 54 more grand per year from a 60-second conversation. The return on investment is infinite. It costs nothing. It takes 60 seconds and generates 648 grand a year. And when you skip the conversation, you're losing the most valuable revenue in the entire business: repeat customers. That's the checkout rebooking gap, and that's why 70% of clients leave without their next appointment book. 648 grand a year left on the table. But even if you understand all of this and know that rebooking at checkout is important, and even if you get that 60 to 70% book on the spot, there's still another problem: that 30 to 40% who didn't book at checkout. Most MessBoss owners say, "Oh, okay, call us when you're ready," and they never follow up with them. Those clients are lost. So in this next video, I'm going to show you why the reminder sequence is critical for clients who didn't rebook, what the follow-up system looks like, and how it recovers another extra 20 to 30%. This is where you save the clients who would have been lost forever. And when you don't follow up with this, those 30 to 40% of leads disappear forever. Click the link below and I'll see you there.